The moment you show weakness in public, something subtle but powerful shifts in how others see you. Imagine standing in a meeting, and when challenged, you immediately start apologizing or over-explaining yourself. Instantly, the respect you commanded begins to slip away. People don't just judge what you say, they judge how you react. And showing vulnerability in front of others often signals one thing: weakness. Most people don't realize this, but every time you reveal your insecurities or doubts openly, you hand over your power. You become vulnerable to manipulation, dismissal, and loss of influence. The world is not kind to those who appear fragile in the spotlight. In fact, the social hierarchy is built on strength, confidence, and control qualities that are eroded the moment you expose your cracks. If you want to command unbreakable respect, you must learn to master the art of never showing weakness publicly. This isn't about being cold or arrogant. Is about protecting your inner fortress and projecting a presence that others instinctively respect and fear. In this video, you will discover the psychological truths behind this dynamic and learn practical strategies to become untouchable in any social setting. Respect is not just a polite social courtesy, it's a primal response wired deep into our brains. From an evolutionary standpoint, humans have always lived in hierarchies where strength, stability, and control determine survival. Those who appeared weak or vulnerable were often pushed aside, exploited, or attacked. This ancient wiring still governs much of our social behavior today, even if we live in modern cities and offices. When you show weakness in public, whether through nervousness over explaining or emotional outbursts, you trigger subconscious signals in others that you are unstable or unreliable. These signals activate their survival instincts, causing them to lower their respect for you. It's not about fairness or logic, it's about perceived power. People instinctively gravitate toward those who project confidence and control because it promises safety and leadership. Machiavelli, the master of power dynamics, understood this brutal truth centuries ago. He famously wrote that it is much safer to be feared than loved, emphasizing that respect often comes from projecting strength rather than seeking approval. Modern psychology echoes this. Respect is earned by those who control their emotions and maintain their composure, not by those who seek validation or sympathy. Contrast this with common reactive behaviors. When someone feels attacked or insecure, their instinct is to defend, explain, or apologize. While these responses may feel natural, they actually reinforce the perception of weakness. It's like showing a crack in a fortress wall once visible. It invites further attacks. Leaders and powerful figures, on the other hand, have learned to manage their image carefully. They understand that respect is less about what they say and more about how they carry themselves. Their emotional control signals to others that they are stable, reliable, and in command. This psychological armor makes them untouchable in social hierarchies. Understanding this dynamic is the first step toward mastering unbreakable respect. It's not about suppressing your humanity, but about choosing when and where to reveal your vulnerabilities. In public, your strength must be undeniable. Behind closed doors, you can process and heal. This balance is the secret to commanding respect without losing your authenticity. Most people don't realize how often they reveal weakness in public, unintentionally undermining their own respect and authority. These behaviors are so common that they've become normalized, but in reality, they signal vulnerability and invite others to take advantage. One of the most frequent ways people show weakness is over-explaining themselves. When someone feels attacked or misunderstood, their instinct is to justify every word, provide excessive context, or defend their actions at length, instead of clarifying. This often makes them appear insecure, desperate for approval, or unable to stand firm. Over-explaining is like handing your opponent a roadmap to your insecurities. Another common mistake is apologizing unnecessarily. Saying sorry when it's not warranted or before fully understanding the situation signals submission. It's a way of preemptively admitting fault, which lowers your status in the eyes of others. Powerful people apologize sparingly and only when it truly matters, never as a reflex to discomfort. Emotional outbursts are also a clear sign of weakness. Losing your temper, crying, or showing visible frustration in public reveals a lack of control over your emotions. While emotions are natural, displaying them unchecked in social or professional settings makes others question your stability and reliability. Many people also seek validation, openly asking for reassurance, approval, or agreement. This behavior exposes a neediness that others can sense from a mile away. It's a silent admission that your self-worth depends on external approval, which diminishes your power. Finally, defensiveness, immediately pushing back or arguing when challenged, can backfire. While it might seem like standing your ground, it often reveals that you're threatened and reactive rather than composed and confident. In contrast, those who maintain composure use silence strategically and respond with calm confidence project strength. They don't rush to explain, apologize, or defend. Instead, they control the narrative by controlling their reactions. Recognizing these common pitfalls is the first step toward breaking the cycle. The next step is learning how to replace these behaviors with powerful alternatives that command respect and protect your social power. Emotional control is the cornerstone of unbreakable respect. It's the invisible armor that shields you from attacks, manipulations, and social power plays. When you master your emotions, you project stability and strength qualities that others instinctively respect and follow. At its core, emotional control means not allowing your feelings to dictate your reactions, especially in public or high-stakes situations. Our brains are wired to respond emotionally to threats, real or perceived, triggering fight, flight, or freeze responses. This biological reaction served our ancestors well in survival scenarios, but in modern social dynamics, it often works against us. Reacting impulsively or emotionally in public signals vulnerability and unpredictability, which erodes respect. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He emphasized that the most powerful leaders are those who appear calm and composed, regardless of the chaos around them. Emotional outbursts or visible distress are seen as cracks in the armor, inviting others to exploit your weaknesses. So how do you master emotional control? First, it requires self-awareness, recognizing your emotional triggers before they hijack your behavior. This means paying attention to the physical signs of stress, a racing heart, shallow breathing, or tension in your body. Once you identify these signals, you can consciously choose how to respond rather than reacting automatically. Second, practice deliberate breathing and grounding techniques. Simple actions like slow, deep breaths or focusing on your surroundings can calm your nervous system and give you space to respond thoughtfully. Third, develop the habit of pausing before responding. Even a brief silence can prevent emotional reactions and create a powerful presence. This pause signals to others that you are in control, not reactive. Finally, cultivate a mindset that separates your self-worth from external events. When you no longer tie your value to others' opinions or provocations, you become emotionally untouchable. Mastering emotional control is not about suppressing your feelings, it is about choosing when and how to express them. This discipline transforms you from a reactive participant into a commanding presence, earning you unbreakable respect in every social arena. Silence is one of the most powerful tools in the arsenal of unbreakable respect. While many rush to fill every pause with words, especially when under pressure, the truly powerful understand that strategic silence can disarm opponents, unsettle critics, and shift the balance of power in their favor. When someone attacks or challenges you, the natural impulse is to respond immediately, to defend, explain, or justify. But this reaction often plays into their hands, confirming that their words have struck a nerve. Instead, choosing silence creates a psychological vacuum that forces the other person to confront their own aggression and uncertainty. Psychologically, humans are uncomfortable with silence during conflict. It signals a break in the expected social script and creates tension. This tension makes the attacker uneasy, often causing them to stumble, backtrack, or reveal more than they intended. Silence becomes a mirror reflecting their aggression back at them, making them question their own position. The gray rock method, remaining emotionally neutral and unresponsive, is a prime example of strategic non-reaction. By becoming uninteresting and unreadable, you deny manipulators the emotional fuel they seek. You become a void that cannot be attacked or provoked. Using silence effectively requires discipline and practice. It's not about ignoring problems or being passive. It's about controlling the narrative by controlling your reactions. When you refuse to engage on the attacker's terms, you force them to play your game instead. In social and professional settings, silence paired with calm, steady body language like maintaining eye contact and relaxed posture projects confidence and control. It signals that you are unshaken, unbothered, and in command. Mastering silence and strategic non-reaction transforms you from a reactive target into a psychological fortress. It is a subtle but devastating power move that commands respect and keeps you untouchable in any confrontation. One of the most powerful ways to command unbreakable respect is to control the narrative, to frame your reality on your own terms and refuse to accept the victim role that others try to impose on you. When you allow someone else to define who you are or what your story is, you surrender your power and become trapped in their version of reality. In social dynamics, accusations, labels, and judgments are often weapons designed to box you in and diminish your status. When you react defensively or accept these labels, you reinforce their power over you. Instead, the Machiavellian approach is to refuse the role of defendant and seize the role of judge. This means answering accusations not with submission, but with questions or reframing that puts the spotlight back on the accuser. For example, if someone accuses you of being selfish, instead of denying it or apologizing, you might respond with, "Why does my behavior bother you so much?" This subtle shift forces them to explain their own emotions and motives, disrupting their attack and reclaiming control. Framing your reality also means choosing which battles to fight and which to ignore. Not every insult or criticism deserves your energy. By selectively engaging, you conserve your power and avoid unnecessary conflict. Refusing the victim role requires a deep mindset shift. It means recognizing that your worth is not determined by others' opinions or judgments. You become the sovereign of your own identity, grounded in self-knowledge and radical autonomy. This principle is not about arrogance or denial of flaws. It's about owning your story and refusing to be defined by others' attempts to diminish you. When you master this, you become psychologically untouchable. Others may try to label you, but their words bounce off like water on stone. In essence, framing your reality and rejecting victimhood is a declaration of sovereignty. It signals to the world that you are in control, and that respect must be earned on your terms, not theirs. Building an untouchable public persona is about more than just hiding your weaknesses. It's about projecting unwavering confidence and control in every social interaction. This persona acts like a psychological shield, making others instinctively respect and even fear your presence. First, focus on your body language. Stand tall with your shoulders back and chest open. Maintain steady, calm eye contact without staring aggressively. Your posture should communicate that you are grounded and unshakable. Avoid fidgeting or nervous gestures, as these betray insecurity. Next, master your tone of voice. Speak slowly and deliberately, with a calm, even tone. Avoid rushing your words or raising your voice in defense. A measured voice signals control and authority, while hurried or high-pitched speech suggests anxiety or desperation. Preparation is key. Before entering any social or professional setting, mentally rehearse how you want to present yourself. Visualize staying calm under pressure, responding with poise, and maintaining your composure no matter what is thrown your way. This mental practice builds the internal architecture needed to support your external presence. When confronted with criticism or provocation, remember the power of strategic silence and non-reactive responses. Don't rush to defend or explain yourself. Instead, pause, breathe, and respond only when you have full control of your emotions. This restraint makes you appear confident and in command. Also, be mindful of the stories you tell about yourself. Share only what strengthens your image and aligns with the persona you want to project. Avoid oversharing vulnerabilities or doubts in public settings. Finally, cultivate a consistent presence. People respect those who are reliable and predictable in their strength. Show up on time, keep your promises, and maintain your boundaries firmly but politely. By combining these elements, body language, tone, mental preparation, strategic silence, and consistency, you create a public persona that is psychologically impenetrable. This persona commands respect effortlessly and protects you from social attacks, making you truly untouchable. True, unbreakable respect doesn't come from surface-level tactics alone. It requires a profound mindset shift and deep shadow work. This means confronting and accepting the parts of yourself you've hidden or denied, especially your fears, insecurities, and flaws. Most people show weakness publicly because they haven't fully integrated their shadow, the uncomfortable truths about themselves they try to suppress. When these parts remain unacknowledged, they leak out in moments of stress, making you vulnerable and reactive. Shadow work is the process of embracing your whole self, including the darker, less socially acceptable aspects. By owning your capacity for selfishness, anger, or vulnerability privately, you remove their power to control you publicly. You become transparent. There's nothing left to hide or be ashamed of. This radical self-acceptance creates a foundation of psychological resilience. When you no longer fear judgment or rejection, you stop seeking external validation. Your self-worth becomes internal and unshakable. The mindset shift involves moving from a place of lack and fear to one of wholeness and sovereignty. You stop playing the victim and start owning your narrative. This shift is what transforms mere tactics into authentic power. Remember, the goal isn't to become cold or unfeeling, but to be so grounded in your truth that no external force can unsettle you. This inner work is the ultimate secret behind the untouchable presence that commands respect effortlessly. Mastering the art of never showing weakness in public is not just a tactic, it's a transformative mindset that builds unbreakable respect. By controlling your emotions, using silence strategically, and framing your reality, you create a presence that others instinctively honor and fear. This power isn't about arrogance, it's about sovereignty over yourself and your narrative. Now, the choice is yours. Will you continue to hand over your power with every public display of vulnerability, or will you commit to becoming untouchable? For the next 7 days, challenge yourself. No over-explaining, no unnecessary apologies, no emotional reactions in public. Watch how people's perceptions shift and how your confidence grows. If you're ready to step into this new level of power and respect, subscribe and join a community of like-minded individuals mastering the psychology of influence. Remember, respect is earned by those who refuse to be broken.